Welcome back to the channel, guys. Go check out part 1 for the original Dead Poets video, because now it's time for poetry!
Y'all ready for this?
Alright, so let's start with Mr. Keating's favorite poet, Walt Whitman, who was a free-form poet with no special poetic structure and translation difficulties whatsoever. Well, not quite. Yes, a lot of the poetry is a bunch of Walt Whitman, of which I could not find anything of any great interest, but it's not exclusively Uncle Walt we're dealing with here. We also got...
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
No, not that. The thing after that, though. God damn, that's funny to hear.
Gather ye rosebuds while ye may.
Ah, yes, the Carpe Diem poem, originally written by Robert Herrick in 1648. No. But anyway, yeah. The poem reads, "Gather ye rosebuds while ye may, old time is still a-flying. And this same flower that smiles today, tomorrow will be dying." The rest of the poem is longer, but this is the portion that is recited in the movie. And it has a very specific syllable structure. 8-7-9-7. To be honest, the odd number verses in the poem have a kinda random number of syllables in them, no real structure, but the even number verses, every one of them, have the same number, 7. It gives the poem a nice rhythm to it. Also, the odd number verses are always longer. So with this list of traits, let's look at a few of the translations of this poem and see if they do the original justice. Oh, and incidentally, I did do extensive research online to see if the dubs derived their translations from another source. And nope, all the poetry in the movie has been translated into other languages, but the dub producers chose to come up with their own translations for the poems. So any oddities are entirely their fault. So how many translations keep the magic number 7 the same? As it turns out, only one. Wait a minute. French from France?
You son of a bitch.
Yep, French from France once again, nailing it out of the park.
You boys are gonna pay for that!
Cueille dès maintenant les fleurs de la vie, car la mort est si pressée que le frêle bouton qui s'ouvre aujourd'hui aura bientôt trépassé.
Now don't that sound pretty? So now, how many languages got the even number verses as the same number? Even if it isn't 7, I still think it counts for second place, so who's taking home the silver? Wait, Spanish from Spain?
Hijo de puta.
Coged las rosas mientras podáis. Veloz el tiempo vuela. La misma flor que hoy admiráis, mañana estará muerta.
So, not 7 syllables, but instead 9. But still, 9 on each even number. Good job, Spain. And now, to give the bronze trophy, dull and brown, the color of shit. So who's getting the magnificent turd? Latin Spanish. This poem doesn't even have the courtesy of rhyming.
Recoge rosas mientras puedas, los tiempos pasan pronto, y esta misma flor que hoy sonríe mañana morirá.
Come on, you weren't even trying.
I bet you're the kind of guy that would fuck a person in the ass and not even have the goddamn common courtesy to give him a reach around.
Though I guess they put in more effort than this guy did.
The cat sat on the mat.
This guy, who just gave the most realistic output a high school student would give to a project like this, aside from not doing it, just presented a poem with a simple 3-line structure with 2 syllables each. The cat sat on the mat. Most translations keep the meaning of this, however, there are a few standout examples translation-wise. Spanish seems to have a hard time with this. Maybe they can't fit the sentence into the perfect syllable structure, but here's Spanish from Spain.
El gato esperó un rato.
And here's Latin Spanish.
Un gato en un zapato.
One of those cats wants a rat, and the other one is in a shoe. which is absolutely ridiculous. Kitty, what are you doing in there? What are you doing in my shoes, Kitty? Oh, you love it, don't you? You love being in your shoes. Oh, yes, you do. You absolute little baby Kitty. So yeah, there's that. But as usual, the two standout examples are, say it with me, le français, pile frasa. Let's start with Quebec.
La souris de Mandchourie me sourit.
Not only does this in no way translate the original, but it's actually clever? It uses a homonym, souris as mouse, and souris as in smile. A play on words that is clearly way too clever for this idiot. I mean, I guess it is one of the most basic plays on words that you can do in French, but you want to see something better? Let's go to France now.
La chatte a quatre papates.
Here he says, la chatte a quatre pattes. Or, no, he doesn't. Because this guy is such a colossal moron that he couldn't be bothered to find a two-syllable word to end his poem with. So he just says, papates. Now that is the dumbass I know and silently resent the existence of. Speaking of silent resentment, the bane of all high schoolers, dumbass and smartass alike,
William Shakespeare.
specifically, two parts of A Midsummer Night's Dream. In the first part, we see Puck talking about how much he loves playing pranks on people. Here he takes on the appearance of a crabapple. A crabapple being a small, sour apple that is used in cooking more so than as a straight-up snack. Now I know what you're thinking. I don't need you to explain that, man! Well, apparently the Spanish dubbers weren't, because they translated the roasted crabs line with the word cangrejo, as in crab, as in the animal.
Me escondo en el cuenco de una comadre tomando la forma de un cangrejo cocido.
The best part is that the rest of the dialogue is pretty much the same. What must Spanish audience members have been thinking while watching this? Right afterwards, the final scene in the play, where Puck apologizes for how bad the play is. Yeah, no kidding. If I go through the whole scene, I might get copyright striked by Disney, so I won't do so. But lots of you already know it anyway. If not, here's the link. Pause the video and type it out manually like a man! No, but seriously, the link is in the description. But anyway, in Shakespeare, there is iambic pentameter, but most languages can't do that. Fair enough. But you can at least make it rhyme, for God's sake. Well, it turns out for French and Latin Spanish, you can.
Si nous échouons à satisfaire, alors mettez fin à l'affaire.
A este pobre y vano empeño, que no ha dado más que un sueño.
And for Spanish and Quebec...
Si las sombras os hemos ofendido, pensad esto y nada más.
Ce thème faible est sans doute vain qui n'a que la consistance d'un songe.
Apparently you can't. The French from France sounds so lovely too. I highly recommend you go on Disney Plus and check it out for yourselves. So why, oh why, is it impossible for Quebec to do any better? Speaking of which, let's have a look at that poem that the Polish managed to ruin in the last episode.
A sweaty-toothed madman.
I really hate to do this any more than I already have, but this is where I have to emphatically ask, why? Most translations get this weird line right, with the Italian saying a fool foaming at the mouth for some reason, but the Quebec really goes above and beyond, saying
Un Dracula fou qui a oublié de se raser.
An insane Dracula that forgot to shave.
I told you I'm gonna kick this boy.
I know I'm repeating myself, but seriously, why does this turn to this? Why is William Bloat's wife called Sylvie? And why are they praying to the Virgin Mary at the end? Oh, and let's not stray too far away from Mr. Pretentious over here, because his last line in French is butchered too!
On se cache sous la couverture, et on pleure, on crie, et on se meurt.
I mean, seriously, what even is this? Side by side, you can see that this is more of an adaptation than a translation. There is no mention of hiding under the covers, and how could you do that anyway if it only covers your face? Nobody dies in the poem, and what the hell is se mort? What is the verb to die reflexive now? Or is he killing himself because of how introverted he is? Seriously, just why? Why? Well, wait a minute. Go back. Right there. The flag. Is that the tricolor? Wait. This was the French dub? From France? So what's the Quebecois version like? Wait a minute. This is far from perfection, but this isn't half bad. The meaning is there, the words are right. Oh my god. Oh my god! After all this time, after 2 videos, after ages of repression, poverty, and a deliberately poor translation effort, France has fallen! The nation of Quebec has been vindicated!
Vive le